It's literally burning the person you were and creating a new person. And that will be painful.
You say you want more, but your standards keep negotiating with the very things destroying your peace, your growth, and your potential. Your standard is not what you post, is not what you say you believe, it is what you actually allow in your daily life. That is why today, if you stay with us, we talk about the real reason why people keep breaking promises to themselves. Sandra helped me and helped the people that are listening to us to understand why growth is so darn painful.
I was reading a book that's called The Black Book of Power by Stan Taylor. It hooked me. I've always been like a fan of the brain and how it works and how it influences everything we do. We procrastinate because procrastination is comfort. 95% of the thoughts you have are rehashed thoughts from yesterday, the day before, and even since you were 7 years old. You believed all of these things about you that might not even be true. Transformation is not about positive affirmations if you don't believe them. Transformation is not about a weekend retreat that promises to change your life forever. Creating new neuronal pathways and creating new habits, new patterns, new beliefs requires more energy. More energy
It becomes
consumption.
exhausting, right?
It
So
becomes
people get
exhausting.
exhausted and
So
people
you get
want this
exhausted.
amazing life and you're
You get
tired.
exhausted and you're tired. I'm exhausted.
Comfort zone kicks in.
And then you go back to validate that comfort zone. You know very well I'm always trying to look for new. And last year I attempted to go to live to the other side of the Atlantic. I burned all my bridges here in Mexico. But everything that I feared started to show up. The life that I knew started fading away, and it felt like I was dying.
I mean, I know this story, so for me it's easy to understand. But what who is listening or watching us on YouTube and this episode don't understand. You when you say you burn your boats and moved and moved to a different place, and then you moved from Mexico to another country with another language, what is what they don't know yet, and by yourself in a very nice area because you didn't move back to I don't know a third world country or a place that was worse than what you were. You moved to what you thought it was going to be an upgrade on your life, and you decided to do this. I know the story, so I want them to know the context. And what you found yourself in, what I'm listening, I know happened is in panic mode, in pain, and all the self doubt and the fears took over and everything was magnified, yet you showed up. So from the outside you looked amazing. From the outside doing your coaching sessions, I'm pretty sure you help a lot of people, but inside you have that work going on and that pain going on. And you say that you had to develop that new identity. We were looking for a new identity. Why we don't tell them what happened and what got you through? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people will identify with that. When you migrate into another country, you have a new job, or you now have a new partner, or you have to get divorced, right? You are a certified divorce coach. So I think it's a really good segue for us to turn this conversation a little bit up and amp it up to from your own experience. This is not something that you read in a book. You lived it, right? You lived it, you were there, you felt it, most importantly, and you survived. So, Sandra, tell us more about that. How you were able to not just rebuild, you created this new person, and now you're back to the same environment. You're not back to the same people. you built a new Sandra. So talk more about it. I think it's well worth it to share today.
I did leave everything in Mexico, the life that I had, a wonderful apartment, 24/7, living the apartment help, a wonderful office, uh, my family, my friends. And I moved with 5 suitcases. That was all. I let go of my beautiful car, of my beautiful home. When I got there, everything started to be complicated. The place was not as it looked. The area was beautiful, but not that specific area. It was very different. Everything was very different. And then one day I woke up and everything I had online had been hacked. Everything. Everything.
Wow.
I didn't speak the language. I didn't have a car. I didn't really have support to fall back on. Everything that I knew was true started to disappear. Everything
Everything that
started.
was attached to your identity, right? Everything that
Everything that was attached to my identity started to disappear. Slowly, 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 everything started to get really complicated. A mind that I thought that I had trained got out of control. And it went down the negative path. The mind became super negative. I started having panic attacks, extreme anxiety. So I said, I need to implement on myself a new identity. Transformation of the mind. Whatever you hang on to will make the transformation of the mind worse. Admitting that I had an addiction to negative thoughts. You do not have to react to your thoughts, that 95% of those thoughts are lies your mind is telling yourself of things that happened in the past. You are most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were.
is not about becoming perfect. It's becoming more honest, honest about what has to go, honest about what can no longer stay, honest about the kind of life you say you want to build. Because the moment that you raise up those standards, you can change your decisions, you can set up your boundaries, you can let things go, painful or not. And when you make those decisions and you decide to change, I believe that life starts to flow. I'm inviting everybody today to take a hard look in their lives. What am I still tolerating and that no longer serve me and matches who I say I want to be? Any last thoughts that you want to share, Sandra, before we close this episode and we wish
It's
everybody an
about
amazing day?
it's about loving yourself so much that you're willing to go back to yourself.
If this episode spoke to you, don't just listen to it. Use it. Use it because Sandra just became very vulnerable and changed her own story. And I love that about you, Sandra, because you have been vulnerable in other episodes here, sharing from experience, not from the books. We're sharing from where we have been, and we hope people don't have to live through those episodes if they can learn from us. Thank you again. Until the next time.
Thank you, Miguel. Adios, everybody.